Hey, and thanks for participating in the Sonify usability experiment. I'm going to show you how to make a project, add sounds, affect sounds, and make a recording. So start by clicking on the New Project button and choosing a name for your project. We have to choose a location to save it. Let's just select the default location. So now our scene opens up and there's two parts to the editor. There's the scene up here where we have music nodes and effects, and there's the editors in the lower half here. This node that we start with is the microphone. Any sounds that are in the scene are going to hit this, and that's what we're going to hear. So let's demonstrate that by adding some sounds to the scene. Click on the emitters icon here, and then click on New Emitter. This opens up our sound library. First we need to add some sounds to it. Click on New, and there's two ways of doing this. We can either record something using the microphone in app, or we can import something from the computer. I've precompiled some audio sources in this folder here, so we'll open that up, and we'll choose this. Now we can see the new sounds in our library, and if we want to sample it, we can click on this play button here. Great. And to select it for creation, just click on the main button. Now we're going to click where we want to create this sound, and now it's in the scene. We can hear that if we move the emitter closer to the microphone, it gets louder. And we move it further away, it gets quieter. Also, if we move the emitter to the right, it pans to the right, and move it to the left of the microphone, the sound pans to the left. So let's add some effects. Click on Walls, and we're going to basically draw effects in the scene. If we draw a wall in between these two nodes, you can hear how the sound has changed. Sound is either transmitted through or reflected off the walls that you draw. If you move this node to the other side of the wall, you hear a different effect. This is because the sound is now reflecting off of the wall instead of transmitting through it. You can change the effects that walls have by clicking on them, and then clicking on these two buttons here. This is the reflective effect, and we have a bit crusher on there right now. But maybe we want a delay. So we can use delay, and you hear the new effect on there. Let's change that back, actually. The other way to change this is to go to Manage in the Walls button, and we have all our effects and all of our materials that we can draw with in here. You can also change the texture that it's drawn with, and we can also change that through here. Let's add another sound. Go to New Emitter, we'll import another audio source. Now, I've created these audio sources in another software and I've timed them correctly so that they'll play at the same time, but in order to actually do that, we need to sync things. So before you create it, click on the emitter that you want to sync with, and you'll see that it's highlighted, and then click in the scene. You can hear now that they're lined up. Finally, I'm going to show you how to make a recording out of all this. If you go to the master button here, and you say click to start recording, it'll record everything that's happening live. You stop it there, name it, and you save it. And it's going to save in this folder under your project in the sessions folder if you want to retrieve it later. You can save it somewhere else if you want, but this is a fine spot for it. You can pause the scene by clicking on this button here, the master icon. I'm just going to show you a few more features, and then you can get started. If you click on an emitter, you'll get a whole effect editor. You can mute it and unmute it, and you can do this live. You can do that to time things, rewind it, pause it. You can even swap the sound source that it's using. You can bypass walls, which means that the wall that you select will not affect this emitter. You can reselect it. There's there's also this physics panel here, and a few settings that are kind of useful. So we'll just mute this one for now. You can increase the strength of reflected effects by using the slider here. Transmitted effects. The distance decay factor, if it goes higher, makes it so that moving closer and further affects the volume a lot. And the displacement factor affects how much affected sound replaces the original sound. There's a few other features here, but I think you can figure these things out. Good luck, and have fun.